Hi, I'm Mark Lascola, Managing Principal of On the Mark. In our practical series of organization design videos, we present you real issues and real solutions that we encounter and solve for our customers based on our over 27 years in business, completing 400 plus redesigns around the globe. In this video, explained and illustrated by Peter Turgus, On the Mark Senior Consultant, we want to focus on the shortcomings of clarifying roles and responsibilities, a mantra repeated daily in businesses around the globe.
Hi, I'm Peter Turgus, Senior Consultant with On the Mark. Let me start this by asking you a question about your organisation or an organisation that you do a lot of work with. How often do you wander around that organisation and hear people complaining about other people not doing their jobs properly? And as a result of that, them having to do lots of rework, having to duplicate the work, and complaining that those people over there have got a different way of doing the work to the way I do it, so whenever I do it, I have to rework it. What you're starting to get is a build-up of us and them behaviour in that organisation, where everybody's blaming somebody else for the errors that are happening and for the rework they're having to do. And people are losing sight of the customer because they're constantly focusing on the processes. Often when these things are going on, what managers will come to you to say, or what managers will assume, is that it's all happening because people are unclear about their roles and responsibilities. That's probably true, actually. People are unclear about their roles and responsibilities, but the solution that managers jump to isn't going to solve that. Very often, people will come to you and say, people don't understand their roles and responsibilities. Can you improve the RACI so that we can tell them what to do and then we can train them to do it? Based on these root causes, we know that the solution is not going to be to improve the RACI, to tell people what to do and to train them. The solution has to be more systemic than that and more holistic. What we would recommend, based on our experience, is that you bring together cross-boundary teams to determine and get them to determine what work gets done where, how the boundaries that have to exist get glued back together, and importantly, where the power lies within those boundaries so that people know where decisions get made and how they get made. At the end of all that, they can determine what technical and behavioural skills are needed for the roles to be successful. We know from experience that improving the RACI, going out and telling people what to do and then training them will have an immediate impact, but it won't solve the problem. We will still see in weeks to come the same symptoms appearing. So we need to go back to looking at where the real root cause of this problem is. Right, so let's have a look at that graphically by thinking about the basic building blocks of the organisation. What we have in any organisation is a value stream that runs end to end with the work that has to be done in steps to deliver satisfied customers. And in the ideal world, in your simple organisation, you'll have one boundary around all that work, and within that boundary, a team that does it, and everybody knows what's going on. However, we know that the world is not that simple. What we have is restructuring going on forever in an organisation. So let's take our organisation here and imagine that somebody has said, actually, that work there is becoming so important now, we're going to create a separate team to do it. And therefore, the work has to be passed from one team into that team and then out again. So we've created a situation where people are having to pass off work and then pass off work, which creates the opportunity for things to go wrong. Let's imagine our organisation continuing to grow. So rather than just having one product being delivered to a customer, we've got another product stream. And we decide that we're going to organise that in a very similar way. We're going to have the work being done end to end, but we're going to have a separate team doing this bit. Then, as time progresses, somebody says, actually this work is the same across both products. So let's put a team together that works across all these products. So what we're seeing is the organisation evolving as we go, which is great. We expect that to happen. The problem it creates is that you're starting to fragment the work. And we know whenever you fragment the work and create boundaries, then problems occur. So there's opportunities here and here and here and here for the work to go wrong. The other problem you face is that the way that the work is being done for one product may be different to the way it's being done for the other, which is okay until the work gets joined up at a step in the process. Here, if one stream's doing it one way, one stream's doing it the other, the people that are working across the streams are saying, this is madness. Everybody's doing the work differently. It's creating lots of rework for us because we need to be the same. And then those people that it's being passed to are getting confused because the work that's coming out of the cross team may be different to what they were expecting. People complain about it, and therefore meetings are put in place, but those meetings only deal with how do we share information, how do we know what's going on. So what we finish up with is people at different points in the value stream either not knowing what somebody else is doing, thinking they're doing it wrong because when it comes back to them it's not what they're expecting, or complaining that everybody's got different ways of doing things because they're having to work across the value stream.
I'd like to refer you back to two sources of theory, writings, and insight from the 60s, 70s, and 80s that still apply today. First, let's go back to Albert Chern's seminal work in his Guidelines for Organization Design. Chern's identified a key principle: insert as few boundaries as possible into a business, and only where absolutely necessary. The other point that I'd like to make comes from the work of quality back in the 70s and 80s. And in that work is the greater number of pass-offs in a workflow, the greater likelihood for errors. If you look at those two principles when combined, it's our experience today that businesses are overly fragmented and overly complicated. And this fragmentation is caused by having too many boundaries in the organization or in a business today. I thank you for your time. I hope you found this video insightful and helpful, and we welcome your feedback and comments.